Hey guys, so I'm Kristin Smith.
And I'm Adam Holtz.
And we're here with Plugged In, and we're going to talk today about Incredibles 2.
Incredibles 2.
Yeah, some of the things that you would expect from a Pixar movie, and some things that you wouldn't expect.
Couple surprises. So, watching this movie, it's a sequel of a movie made 14 years ago, and so we get
It's been that long?
14 years, 2004, The Incredibles came out. You were like
That's when I was born.
13,
Just
I think.
kidding. Yeah.
Or something like that. And it gives us the Parr family again, and they're still wrestling with this idea of being superheroes, and actually being a superhero is now illegal in this society. And so a big part of the plot has to do with making superheroes legal again. But we get a role reversal. Helen Parr, who is Elastigirl, gets sort of pegged by this guy who wants to do a PR rehab to be the face of superheroes.
Yes.
And that leaves Bob Parr, big guy, Mr. Incredible, at home with the three kids. And I think one of the joys of this movie is that it shows that there are two kinds of heroism here. There's the superhero kind, but Dad is a hero too. And you see him wrestle with his desire to get it right. You see him admit where he's totally blown it. He's exhausted. I love the emphasis on the dad's character, and you're going to talk to us a little bit more about Elastigirl, about Helen Parr's character and what the film does with that.
So it was actually pretty funny because you have Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl, and he obviously wants to get back out there and fight crime, and that's great.
Because he's big.
Exactly.
And that's what he does.
But there's not enough space for him because he always destroys things. That's the only way he can solve problems.
He's kind of an accidental wrecker.
He is, yes. When they ask Elastigirl to go and to be the one that's the face of this PR group, she's very excited, hesitant, because she doesn't want to leave the kids at home. She doesn't really trust him. She's not really sure he can figure it all out.
In some ways, rightly so, but he gets it done.
He does. Yeah, he gets it done really well, and she's able to pursue something outside of the home that she's wanted to for a really long time. And I thought they did a really good job showing how, for a lot of years, she felt sidelined. And then when the role switched, he now had this opportunity to take care of the kids, but he also felt sidelined.
Yeah.
And so I think he got to see that firsthand.
Yeah.
And she was able to go out and do something that she really wanted to do.
And sometimes those changes can kind of disorient us. They catch us off guard. And the other thing that I liked was, even though it showed essentially mom working and dad being home with the kids, they still had really distinct roles.
Yes.
So the film never says moms and dads are totally interchangeable, it doesn't matter, because when mom eventually comes back, there are certain things that only mom can provide. And so I still think it does a great job of representing the richness of mom and dad and male and female, even though it does speak to these changing roles in our culture.
Yeah, there was a really good scene actually when she was on the bike and she's like fighting crime, and her son Dash like pages her, and he's like, "Look, Mom, I'm trying to find this, and Dad can't find it, but I need you to find it."
And she's like, "Not now,
Dash. I can't handle this."
She's zipping through traffic. So all of that kind of stuff is stuff that I would have expected in a Pixar movie. There were a couple things that were a little bit surprising, and one of those is just a couple of mild profanities. And a mild profanity is exactly that. It's not the end of the world, but it's also mild enough. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why is this in this movie? It doesn't need to be there.
They didn't need it.
And so I found myself frustrated by that and hoping that we're not seeing continual slippage with that content issue now creeping even more into kids' movies.
That's kind of what it felt like. It felt like we're going to slide these in, but they were loud enough to a parent's ear, taking a child thinking, they didn't really need to hear this, and it was unnecessary. Had you omitted it, we wouldn't have been able to tell, and it would have been fine.
It was totally gratuitous, even though it was gratuitous in a relatively small way. But again, I was racking my brain trying to think of another Pixar movie where there's been any profanity at all. I couldn't think of any. So that's a little bit of a troubling development. And one of the other things that we often talk about at Plugged In is that we want to give you resources for your family to make the best discerning decision for your family. But sometimes even kids within the same family have different needs and different sensitivities. And I actually got a taste of that myself. There's one scene in the film about halfway through that's kind of dark and a little bit creepy and kind of intense, and then there's a jump scene. Well, my 7-year-old responded really badly to it, and she ended up coming and sitting on my lap for about the last 30 minutes of the movie. Now, I didn't walk into Incredibles 2 thinking, this is a movie that's going to give my daughter nightmares.
Yeah. I mean, why would you think that?
But, you know, it was just an example of, even when you do your research, my other two kids were fine, but my youngest really had that sensitivity. And it was just a reminder to me that as we think about our families, it's not even just, is this film right or wrong for my family as a whole, but you know, might it be okay for some of my kids and not others?
Well,
Kristen, any other thoughts to finish us up?
No, I don't think so. That's about it. So we thank you for tuning in with us. You guys can check us out on YouTube and pluggedin.com.
And please comment on anything we've said here. If you've seen the film and want to talk about it more, we would love to hear from you.
Thanks.